Welcome back to How to Souls. My name is Rach, and today we're going to continue with our warrior class guide with the Gargoyles boss. So this boss is very well known as being your first sort of like wall in this game because it is a 2-on-1 fight. So before we go any further, the biggest tip for this boss is just to go human and summon Solaire. His sign is right outside here if you talk to him just before the Hellkite Drake Bridge. Honestly, he just makes this fight so much easier because instead of a 2-on-1, it's a 2-on-2. It's just so much easier. But if for whatever reason, maybe you don't have, excuse me, maybe you don't have any humanity left or whatever, maybe you just want to do this fight alone, I will be doing this tips video alone, just for the purposes of, may as well. There's no point in me showing you, like, look how easy it is with Solaire. So this is the warrior class, so we're using a sword and shield. I started as a warrior, so I started with the heater shield. Now this is literally going to be our secret weapon for this fight because the heater shield has a very high fire block, 70% fire block. So if we find ourselves in a situation where both gargoyles are breathing fire, we're just going to block it and it's going to do barely any damage to us. It's going to be awesome. I have leveled my vitality and endurance to 15, something that I recommend you doing, and my strength is 18 because I was rocking the Zweihander for a bit, but I am now using the Claymore, which I have leveled to +3. Quite easy to do if you pick up a couple of Titanites from fighting the mobs coming up to this boss fight, and also you can buy a couple from Andre. If you want more information on how to level up weapons, I've got a video on that just up in the cards for you above now. But yeah, so we've got Claymore +3, we've got the heater shield. If you started as a knight, you'll have the kite shield, which similarly has good physical block, but it won't have that fire block, so just bear that in mind. You can still block it, but you're going to take a little bit of damage at the same time, so don't block it like infinitely. So this boss fight, basically you start off fighting just one gargoyle, which has a tail, and you have the whole arena to fight in. Once that gargoyle gets to 50% HP, it's going to summon a friend, which doesn't have a tail, tends to favor breathing fire, and has less health. Or less defense. I think it's less defense because it's not wearing a helmet, so I think that's the idea. But the second one tends to go down faster. If your damage is good enough, you want to aim to get the first gargoyle down as soon as possible. Like, literally, just burn it down. But if you are like me and you've just, well, I've not really built up this character very much. I mean, +3 sword is pretty good, but we're not going to do a ton of damage. So a lot of this fight is going to be fighting these two guys at the same time. So I'm going to show you a couple of openings that you can look for in order to return attack or if you need to heal, that sort of stuff. So I'm going to record the commentary for this in post because I'm not feeling too well today, so I'm just going to go easy on myself. But I hope you enjoy the fight and I hope it helps you with your fight. Alright, the first thing to point out is that you are fighting on a rooftop, and if you fall off that rooftop, you will die. So be careful to stay in the center of the area and not go too close to the edge, because one wrong dodge, or indeed a block, is going to send you flying off the edge. So stick to the middle. You can actually use the elevation somewhat to make some of the halberd attacks go right over your head, although don't rely on it. So the first thing I do right off the bat is I'll have my gold pine resin on, so I'm going to hit like a truck. I'm going straight for this gargoyle's tail. What that will do is it will stun him momentarily, do a ton of damage, and also, I mean, you get a sweet ass heckin' halberd out of it. It eliminates one move from his move pool as well, and he can no longer tail swipe at you because he doesn't have a tail mate. Once you get the first gargoyle's health to about 50%, maybe even slightly more if you are a little bit slower, his friend will join you. And as I mentioned before, this one tends to favor hanging in the back and breathing fire, which is actually a good thing because if you can bait the fire, move to a more favorable position, such as you can see me doing now, you're free to then take out Gargoyle 1, and Gargoyle 2 by himself is a piece of cake. I did mention this second one does have less defense, so if you were like in a position where both of them have 50% health and you have to choose one of them to go for, I do recommend if you can get a couple easy hits on Gargoyle 2, your damage is going to go further and you might find it easier to concentrate on him first of all. As the warrior, you are laughing with your heater shield. It really is carrying us really hard here, and you just know to keep an eye on your health because blocking still does do damage to you. So you want to just make sure you can back off and top off before you start to get too low. That's all there really is to it. And that was the Sword and Shield gameplay strategy for the Gargoyles. I hope you found it useful. If you did, you can subscribe to the channel, and you never know, you might find our other videos useful. Check out our other class guides, and I'll see you in those.